Then over.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you regret it?
A lot of people made a big deal that I did say that I regretted it the other day.
But then I get a lot of pushback from the audience that I am audience captured by and I get paid so much money from. And then I realized, like, oof, having like principles and kind of like standing by things you believe is right actually kind of sucks. And I really want, access to Joe Rogan's nutsack as much as possible and that Trump crowd and that Trump audience and that Trump money. So I kind of thought about it. And I was like, actually, still better than Kamala.
People made a big deal that I did say that I regretted it the other day. Look, voting to me, I have a different kind of theory of voting than most people do. I think it's kind of like, look, either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump was going to be president. And I do, you'll have to wait till the end of the 4 years. And if this is the end of this war, then overall right now, I'd probably say, yeah, we're still better off that Trump's in there than if Kamala. Right now, you'll have to wait till the end of the 4 years. And if this is the end of this war, then overall right now, I'd probably say, yeah, we're still better off that Trump's in there than if Kamala.
Okay.
There are moments in the wasteland of digital discourse when the mask does not simply slip. It is yanked, clawed away, revealing the flesh of cowardice beneath. We stand here not at a crossroads of politics, nor of ideology, but of integrity, or more accurately, the corpse of integrity, dangling from a noose above the carnival stage. For in the dim-lit chamber of Tim Pool's factory of pseudo-journalism, Dave Smith, once a would-be contrarian, a libertarian gladiator swearing fidelity to principle, was summoned, pressed, and shattered under the weight of his own trembling duplicity. Destiny, that mercenary of online disputation, observed this moment and hissed out the only truth left to utter: cowardice. Here, then, begins our requiem. A long march through cowardice, performance, and the ruinous economy of regret. Tim Pool, that beanie-clad curate of populist confusion, asked the question not as inquiry, but as dagger. Did you vote for Trump? Do you regret it? Dave Smith, whose tongue in previous sanctuaries had admitted, however faintly, that the Trump experiment was a regretful dalliance, now twisted and contorted like a rat gnawing its leg to escape the trap. He had said yes before, but yes in the arena of Pool becomes heresy. Yes in the ears of the Trump audience becomes exile. Yes before Joe Rogan's massive gates becomes a lock clanging shut. And so he pivots, he dissembles, he performs the great American pastime of cowardice. What is regret when placed upon the scales of podcast clout? What is principle when weighed against the coinage of audience capture? Dave Smith reveals the ledger himself. Regret is too expensive. To stand firm in one's disavowal of Trump is to risk exile from the crowd that claps, clicks, donates, subscribes. To hold the line of principle is to lose one's place at the round table of Rogan, to be denied the golden chalice of Spotify reach. Thus regret is spoken, then swallowed. It is admitted, then buried. It flickers for a moment, then suffocates under the damp soil of cowardice. This is not ideology. It is not political philosophy. It is capitalism of the soul, where authenticity is pawned for access, and where regret itself is just another currency to trade, falsify, or counterfeit depending on the crowd. We must not ignore the stage. Tim Pool, the carnival master, does not ask for truth, he demands spectacle. His question was not an inquiry but a performance, a trapdoor to test loyalty. And Dave Smith, trembling before the crowd, performed the coward's ballet. He equivocated, he hedged, he repositioned Trump as better than Kamala. He spun weakness into pseudo-strength. This is the function of Pool's circus, to strip men bare, to expose their feebleness, to turn the whisper of regret into the roar of cowardice. Pool does not reveal truth, he reveals rot. It is in this graveyard theater that Destiny, ever the digital cynic, muttered his judgment. He did not speak with the pretense of philosophy or the solemnity of history. He spoke with the guttural scorn of one who has seen this charade too many times before. He called Dave Smith what he is, a coward, A man so desperate for audience approval, he would carve his own conscience into chum for the sharks. A man who once dared to speak regret, but now rebrands it as weakness, trading his honesty for a few more moments at Rogan's imagined gate. Destiny's anger is not merely personal, it is archetypal. For he knows this cowardice infects all. The politician who blames the voters, the influencer who edits their takes to appease subscribers, the intellectual who couches truth in euphemism so as not to be uninvited from panels. Dave Smith is not anomaly, he is symptom. Speaking of Tim Pool, let's give this dude his flowers, cause he's out here playing the centrist card like it's a get-out-of-jail-free pass. Tim's the kind of guy who calls himself a social liberal, but spends his days reading alt-right talking points like they're bedtime stories. In this clip, he's pressing Dave on the Trump vote, but it's less a grilling and more a gentle massage, like he's trying to keep Dave comfy for the MAGA crowd. Tim's like, "Yo, Dave, you regret that vote." But he's not pushing hard, not digging in, just letting Dave waffle like he's at an IHOP with no menu. Destiny's watching this, shaking his head like, "Tim, you're supposed to be a journalist, not a hype man." Tim Pool's podcast is like a barbershop where everybody's got a hot take, but nobody's got a mirror. He's built this empire on independent commentary, but it's less independent and more like a MAGA fan convention with better lighting. He's out here asking Dave about his Trump vote, but it's all theater. Tim's not trying to expose Dave's flip-flopping. He's just giving him a platform to pander. And Dave's eating it up, saying, "Well, I regretted it, but Trump's still better than Kamala." Like he's trying to keep one foot in the libertarian camp and the other in Mar. Destiny's like, "Bruh, Tim, you're letting Dave slide, cause you're both chasing that same Trump audience." But let's keep it a buck. Tim's not just a bystander, he's a player in this game. He's got his own history of flip-flopping, going from Occupy Wall Street to cozying up with Trump supporters, all while claiming he's left-leaning. Destiny's calling out the whole vibe, saying Tim's enabling Dave's cowardice by not holding him accountable. It's like Tim's running a podcast where the only rule is keep the MAGA crowd happy. And Dave's playing along, backtracking on his regret like he's scared of losing his invite to the next Rogan cookout. This whole clip is a masterclass in grift, fam, with Tim and Dave tag-teaming to keep the clout flowing. Regret in our cultural mythology is meant to purify. To admit a mistake is to reveal humanity, to cleanse oneself through contrition. But here regret is no cleansing agent, it is just another mask. Dave Smith admitted regret once, but it was not to repent. It was to momentarily shield himself from criticism, to demonstrate self-awareness without paying its price. But true regret demands consequence. True regret costs reputation, costs access, costs applause. And so he withdrew it. He snatched back the apology. He repainted it as pragmatism. This is not regret. It is cowardice disguised as regret, then stripped even of that disguise. It is the hollowest of husks. We must widen the view. This is not the tale of one libertarian podcaster faltering in the beanie temple of Tim Pool. It is the tale of an entire digital culture where integrity is perpetually pawned for clout. Politicians trade principle for poll numbers. Influencers sell their conscience for sponsorships. Commentators swallow their own words when the audience growls. Dave Smith's cowardice is simply the latest bone tossed into the graveyard of integrity. And Destiny's fury, though sharp, is but the echo of countless others who watch civilization barter its last scraps of honesty for another moment of online relevance. So let it be written, so let it be spoken. Regret without cost is cowardice. Principles that shift with audience applause are not principles, but advertisements. Tim Pool's stage reveals rot, not truth. Dave Smith's tongue reveals cowardice, not philosophy. Destiny's rage reveals cynicism, not salvation. And all of us, spectators in this grotesque amphitheater, gnaw at the bones of integrity, laughing as another man sells his soul for clout. This is the graveyard. This is where regret comes to die,